Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. The title of our today's video is How to Create Teamup Events from Microsoft Excel. So I'm using Microsoft Excel to add the details of my events, and I wish that as soon as I add the details of my event in my Microsoft Excel account, automatically events should be created in my Teamup too. For this, we are going to create a connection between Microsoft Excel and Teamup. To create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So in Pabbly, we have the concept of trigger in action. For trigger, we are going to use Microsoft Excel, and for action, we are using Teamup. So if you also wish to learn this process step by step, follow me through the screen. Welcome to my screen. So as you know, in this video, we are going to learn how to create Teamup events from Microsoft Excel. For this, we are going to create a connection between our Microsoft Excel and our Teamup account. To create this connection, I have already opened the landing page of Pabbly simply by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. It is very easy. So as soon as you'll open the landing page of Pabbly, you are going to get two options. One is sign in and the another one is sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you are going to get 100 of tasks free every month. But I'm an existing user, so I'm going to click on sign in. And now it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting two applications. So I'm going to click on access now. And now it is opening my dashboard, and to start with the automation I'm going to click on this button right over here which says create workflow. And now it is asking me the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So I want to save the workflow in this folder which says automations, and I want to name my workflow as create Teamup events from Microsoft Excel, and then we are going to click on create. And now it is opening the most important window of our automation, that is our workflow window. This is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. By this you can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and actions follow the commands. And as you know that we can have only a single commander but multiple followers. So over here we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. So now we are going to select our trigger application, which is Microsoft Excel, because I want that as soon as a new row is updated in my Microsoft Excel account, automatically an event should be created in my Teamup too. For this, I'm going to search for Microsoft Excel and then we are going to select it. And then for the trigger event, we are going to select new row in worksheet. And then we are going to click on connect. And now it is asking me to add a new connection or select the existing connection. So if you have already connected your Microsoft Excel account with your Pabbly's workflow, you can click on select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me. Click on add a new connection and then connect with Microsoft Excel. And now it is asking me for some permissions. So I'm going to give it all the permissions and click on accept because my data is secure with Pabbly. You can also click on accept because your data is safe. And as soon as you will click on accept, you can see that you have successfully connected your Microsoft Excel account with your Pabbly's workflow. And now it is asking me the workbook name. So the name of my workbook is Teamup Events and the name of my worksheet is New Events. And also you can see that I have entered the details of my events in this worksheet too. Over here you can see the event title, which is Learn About Automation, the start date, the start time, the end date, the end time, and also in the notes it is saying Learn About Automation with Pabbly without knowing any coding or programming language. And as you can see that I have entered the start date, start time, end date and end time in the desired format. I wanted to add this in my workflow as. So you also have to keep this in mind that you also have to enter the start date and the end date in the desired format only. And as soon as you are going to create this, again we are moving back to our workflow. So we are going to search for Teamup events right over here and select Teamup events as the name of my workbook. And as you know that I have only a single worksheet, so it is automatically selecting that. If you have a lot of worksheets, you are going to get the option to select one of them. So after selecting that, we are going to click on save and send test request. And now you can see that I have received the response of the details that I have added already, because Microsoft Excel is a polling based application and it says this trigger will check for new data in 8 hours. So it will only check for new data in 8 hours only. So whenever we are going to click on save and send test request, it will give you the latest details added in the worksheet. So over here, I have added these details as my latest details. So that's why it is giving me the response of that details only. And now if I'm going to add more details right over here and then click on save and send test request, it will give me the response of that details. So now after receiving the positive response, we are going to move on to our action step and select our action application. So for the action application, we are going to select Teamup because I want that as soon as a new row is updated in my Microsoft Excel, automatically event should be created in Teamup too. So I'm going to search for it and select it. And then for the action event, we are going to select create an event. And then we are going to click on connect. And again, it is asking me to add a new connection or select the existing connection. So if you have already connected your Teamup account with your Pabbly's workflow, you can click on select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, again, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and then it will ask you for the API key and the calendar key. So we are going to read the notes, and it is saying enter the API key here. To obtain the API key, register your application in requesting an API key for free. So over here, you can request for API key, but I have already created a request and generated my API key. So I'm going to paste the API key right over here. And then for the calendar key, we are going to open our Teamup account, and then we are going to click on this and then move on to settings. And now we are going to go on from the left side bars to sharing. And over here, we are going to create a new link. So I'm going to click on create link right over here. And then I'm going to name my link, which is Teamup events. So I'm going to write Teamup events right over here. And then we are going to move on forward. And now it is asking me for the calendars shared. So over here, I'm going to select the selected calendars. And then it is asking me to give the permission to all the calendars. So over here, you can see the calendars that I have already created in my account. So I'm going to give the permissions to these calendars as modify. For all, we are going to keep it as modify, and then for the default permission also, we are going to keep it as modify only. And now after giving all the permissions, I'm going to click on save. And yes, you can see that we have successfully created a link. Over here, you can see Teamup events. So I'm going to copy this calendar key, and then we are moving on to our workflow. We are going to paste the link. But now over here, you have to keep in mind that after .com is the calendar key, and before it we have to erase it. So I'm going to select it and erase this. And over here you can see that this is my calendar key, and then we are going to click on save. And yes, you can see that we have successfully connected our Teamup account with our Pabbly's workflow. And now it is asking me for the sub calendar. So I'm going to select my sub calendar as events. And then now it is asking me for the event title. So I'm going to map this. Mapping is a method by Pabbly, which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step, where we selected Microsoft Excel as our trigger application. So we are going to map these details from the response of our trigger application, which is Microsoft Excel. And now, as soon as I'm going to map these details, automatically these details will turn dynamic and change with every new row updated in my worksheet. So over here, first we are going to map the title. I'm going to open the response, and over here you can see the event title. So I'm going to map this, and then we are going to move on forward for the start date. So again, I'm going to open the response, and over here you can see the start date. So I'm going to map this, put a T, and then we are going to map the start time. And as you can see that we have entered the details of our start date in the same desired format. It is written in notes. Same we are going to do for the end date too. We are going to map the end date, put a T, and then the end time. And then over here you can see there are a lot of more details it is asking me for. But as you can see that these details are not the required details. So I'm going to ignore these fields and click on save and send test request. And yes, you can see that we have received the positive response that with the help of the details in our row in Microsoft Excel, automatically event has been created in our Teamup. So I'm going to open my Teamup account and check that if the event has been created or not. We are going back to our calendar. And over here you can see with the same date and the same time, a new event has been created with the same event title too. This means that my workflow is successful, and I'll just summarize the workflow for you once. For our trigger application, I selected Microsoft Excel, and then for the trigger event, we selected new row in worksheet. And as you can see that this is a polling based application, which means that this trigger will check for new data in 8 hours only. So that's why I received the details of the latest response I created in my Microsoft Excel. So as soon as I'm going to create a new row right over here, In next 8 hours, Pabbly will check for the data and then again trigger the workflow and create an event in my Teamup account. And then for the action application, I selected Teamup, and then for the action event, I selected create a event, and then we selected our sub calendars. We mapped these details turned dynamic and made our workflow ready to run in real time. And then we clicked on save and send test request, and we were successful with our workflow because as you can see that this is the event I created with the help of my workflow. So if you have any questions related to the workflow or the video, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone the workflow and share the workflow link in the description box. Thank you for watching. Not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly, you can integrate many more applications. So now, if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.